And welcome back to Career Build Series. This is episode 124, and just to recap, last episode, we have a crashed helicopter. So, for those who didn't see, wind was up to about 100%, and so I came into land here very low on fuel, and due to some limitations, when I built this pad here, as you can see, the grippers are or the connectors are offset. They're up here. So what happens is generally with aircraft, you want to land into the wind. And so the wind's coming from over here. And so the problem was if I came into land this way, I could more easily fight the wind and come in and land. Well, I have to come in and land this way, so I had a tailwind. And with a tailwind, I literally don't have enough rudder to face this direction because the wind wants me to face into it. So this is maybe 5 minutes after, probably 10 minutes after the crash. And as you can see, the wind has gone from 100% down to 35. So if we had fuel, if we had enough fuel, we could have just waited it out. But we didn't have the fuel, so I had to kind of ditch. I ended up killing the engine as I was hovering right here and let it drop. That way it safely put it over there. And so what I'm going to start by doing is repairing the Katydid, because in order for me to repair this base or work on this base, I need to get Katydid out of the way. And so I have a couple thoughts. One is if I can move the connectors right here in the center, I can do 2 sets of connectors and connect either way. The other one is I'd have to do 4 connectors around, which I might do that. And so currently where the connectors are here, they're right there. I could probably put them there. I'm not sure. So I'll look, and I might redo the way Katydid's connection system works. Because I need to be able to I need to be able to aim any direction in order to get in there. So let's go ahead and let's use the crane and move Katydid. It was good timing on building the crane. I ended up needing it. So let's go ahead and jump in here. And I'm going to go ahead and move... that was just resetting it. It had tension on the wires from last time that I loaded it, so when I pressed the button it went to its default position. So just kind of drag this over here, and you know, Katydid's already damaged, so it's not a big deal. And I'm going to grab a repair torch and go ahead and repair Katydid. So I just want to get it out in the open where I can work with it. So kind of nice having a crane here that I can work on Katydid with. And of course, you know, the rope has stretch, so that's why it's just kind of dragging on the ground, as it's the rope stretch doing that. Alright, so let's get this, let's get Katydid centered here where the rotors aren't going to hit anything. And so again, it was good timing on getting all of those connectors there for Katydid, because even if it was in a, you know, in the corner there, it would have been hard to move it to get it where I could repair it. So let's see. Let me do this. I want to get the crane out of the way. So let's just go 1. And that detaches the connector. And that little module I made. And I'm just going to put the crane back in its standard position over here. And that way I can, you know, take Katydid off without having this crane looming over it. Alright, so let's go ahead and jump out of here and make sure I shut the door. I often leave this door open. Oh, that could be a little bit longer. Alright, and so we'll grab this rope. And the rope here will... Alright, and so grab this connector and drag this over here, and I'll stick this there for now. Alright, so let's go ahead and grab a torch. Let me see if I can actually recall this thing into the base. That would be kind of cool if I could do that. Let me see if it'll let me pull it back into the base. Okay, not right now. So let's go ahead and I'm just going to grab a torch. And I'm going to just put it over in the corner so I don't have to do a bunch of swimming. But literally it was like maybe 5, maybe 10 minutes at most. If I could have waited that out, the wind would have been gone already and I wouldn't have had to worry about, you know, all the wind would have been gone. I wouldn't have had to worry about it. But, you know, it was just that close to having 100%, you know, is at 100% wind, and 100% wind is pretty brutal for any aircraft in game. I could probably land an airplane, but helicopters are gonna be pretty brutal. So, all right, so that's fixed. Looks like just rotor issues now. So if I open the door, I can use the step here to get access to the rotors. There we go. Alright, so rotors are repaired. I don't think there's actually was any... Yep, tail rotor hit too. Alright, good. So we're all repaired. What I want to do is I'm going to put... Katydid is low on fuel. Let me see where the fuel's at. 21 gallons. Let's fill this up. So I need to put this torch away. So I will go down here. And can I recall this into the workbench? There we go. Alright, so that's back on the workbench. Alright, so let's refuel Katydid. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put station keeping on and have it hover off the side here, and that way I can go ahead and work on this house, because if Katydid is within this house's area, I can't open up the workbench. So we need to turn the pump on, pump in, I want pump out. And pump out will fill Katydid. So let's go ahead and jump the seat and watch it fill, as you can see. So this system's working well with that. So if you didn't see, I have a hose anchor down here, so I could park a fuel barge here to fill fuel into my tanks. And then I have one here for filling up Katydid, yeah, pretty much Katydid. And then if I need to fill a boat, I can use it here, and I just need to cycle the button there. So what I'll probably do is add a button over here, so that I can control it from any of the stations. All right, we are full. And so let's put this hose away. All right, so we're getting a really nice working base now, which is nice. All right, let's go ahead and fire up. So it's doing that stall business just because, again, if the throttle is all the way forwards or all the way up, the you know, it will try to stall. So I think I have a heading hold in here. No, I don't. Okay, good. Okay, I trimmed. I did a ton of trim because of all the wind. I trimmed into the wind, and so that's why I have a bunch of trims in there. So I'm just taking those out. I want to zero all my trims. Can't get up there. I had it zeroed, and as long as it's 0.01, it's fine. Okay, so what's this altitude? This is 21 feet, 22 feet. Let's do 20 feet. What's this heading? This heading is 302, so 300. All right, and now I want to, I'm going to put a set waypoint there. I'm going to enter the waypoint, and I'll go do station keeping. Alright, so this is going to hold us in position. As you can see, it's translating us with roll to the left a little bit to the south. Alright, and then I'll go ahead, I'm going to shut this door. I'm going to go down here, and I will go ahead and shut this door as well. Open the hatch, drop this down. Oh. Okay, and now I'm going to jump in the harness, and I can go down, and I'm going to leave this hovering here, and then when I'm ready to put it back and park it, I can just swim over and do it. So that way it keeps Katydid out of the way. Alright, so that's going to sit there, as you can see. Alright, so now we can work on the base. Might have issue with that little thing sitting there, but let's look. Yep, see this this little thing right here is causing us problem. So I need to kick that in the water. I'm not sure how the system works in game to the cleanup system that cleans up crap you leave around. That would be interesting to see that. Yeah, see, that won't let me recall it from the to the workbench. And the cat jumped all over my microphone as I'm trying to record here. Alright, let's see. Alright, let's see if getting rid of that made it so that I can operate this base workbench. There we go. Yep, so that little thing was just in the way. All right, so I should have screwed with Katydid a little bit. So we have a couple options here. One, I can make 4 of these. One here, one here, one here, and one here. That's probably what I'm going to do. Yeah, if I do that, I can approach from any direction and have the ability to tie down and lock down. And the other thing I should add is some tie downs on here. So let's start with that. So we'll make some real simple tie downs. This will make it so that, and if I need to, I can also rope it down. Let me just grab this color here while I'm here. Alright, so this will allow me to tie it down. Alright. And then let's see what else I want to do. So I kind of want to redo that. So again, I had 2 thoughts. One thought was making this so that I could have 1 or 2 in the center, but I think I'm just going to duplicate these all out. I don't think it's a huge deal, and I know this system works. If I redo the system and it doesn't work, it's kind of a pain. So it's better to use something that I know that works than to kind of reinvent the wheel and potentially get something that doesn't work. Okay, that has everything there. And then I'll just redo the microcontroller a little bit. Okay, so that's the whole unit. So copy that. All right, now I have to put this 2 space blocks away. So like that. I can't do it this way then. I have to redo the bullseye a little bit. See, this isn't oddly numbered. Okay, let's do this. Bring it back in the workbench. I should have done it. I should have just done the undo function. Right, let's do this. So, like, if you look at here, this is an even number. I kind of always want to make it odd numbered. As you see, that should be an even number. That's 10, so I'll make it 11. Alright. So I'm just going to cut this and move it 1 over. And then I might do the 2 connectors. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. Like that. Alright, so now what I need to do is redo the bullseye a little bit. Which isn't a big deal. I just need to kind of do some new painting on the bullseye. Alright. So I'm just going to hand paint this. And what I'll do is go to there, and then I'll copy these and have them just spin them around, and then they're just a duplicate of the other side. Alright, so this isn't too bad here. What are these, all 3? These are all 3 wide. Alright, and then I want to go that. Oh, come on. That. Oh, what did I just do? I meant to do undo. Try to post to the workshop. Alright, so like that, I think. Yeah, that looks pretty good for the center of the bullseye. Alright, so I'm trying to just get this set up, and then let's go ahead and grab this, and then I start coloring in the actual, what the illumination looks like. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to save this, and then I want to look at Katydid, and I want to kind of get Katydid set up where I might try to decide if I want to redo the way that the attach system works so that it's centered. You know, so that attached to the center of Katydid. That allows me to essentially connect either way. So I think I can do it with 2 connectors if I changed Katydid's connection system. So, you know, I think it's going to be better to do it right than to do it the easy way. As much as doing it the easy way would be easier. Alright, so there's the new bullseye. Right there. Yep, okay, so there's the new bullseye. And let's hook that up. And so we have this going now to all these centers. And we just need electricity, so we need to go across like that. You know, I'm not gonna, I didn't need to undo it by any stretch of the imagination, but. Okay, so that is now connected through. Like so. Okay, so that's connected. So that should light up. Alright, and then so what I want to do is, let's save this. And let's just do here. Okay. Alright, so Katydid just hanging over there. Let's do this. Let's save. Okay, so I'm just saving this as Career Build Series Katydid Landing Rework. And then I'm going to load in my test world, and this way I can test with it a little bit more easily. You know, so I can actually get this to do multiple loads and have this operate. Alright. So let's look at, why am I trying to look at Katydid here is the question. Let's go to Draymore. Alright. And I want to look at Katydid. I want to see how I can get this set up so that those will operate in the middle. Alright, so I want to be able to do, if I make them symmetrical, I should be able to make this attached to Katydid both ways. So, center of gravity, I think of these here is pretty good. So let's see what that is. So I want to check and make sure I don't have anything there. Perfect. I don't have anything here. I don't have anything here. And let's look. Yep, nothing there and there. That's awesome. That is really good. So what I can do here is I'm going to grab this. That is right at the center of gravity. That is close to center of length, but it doesn't matter. Center of gravity is what's most important to me. Now, it needs an... see, this is the problem, is the camera. Okay, I don't want it there. I want it here. So I need to check. Okay, that's good. So what I want is actually here. I want the center of the camera there. So let's put them here instead. All right, and let's do connectors. All right. And so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to move these. And that will go right here. And then I want the other one. Right there like that. Alright, so these are now moved and merged. So now what's going to happen is I can put the camera in the center of the bullseye, and that's where my attach points will be. And that, because these are equidistant, what is it? They're 2 from the center, 1 gap essentially. I can put 2 of those. I don't need 4 of them, and I can still attach. And I might be able to do it sideways as well. I'll have to look. And then so this here, what is that? I'm just going to stick a couple blocks here. I put this extra space here because, so what, you know what I'm going to do? I originally didn't want this 3 across, but I ended up making it 3 because I had to do it for the connection system. So now that can actually go back like that. That's a little bit less cumbersome, and I like the look of it better. All right, so let's save this. Okay. All right, so now we have our attach point there, right in the center. All right, so that's good. So let's go, see how to do this. Trying to think how to do this, not be a pain. Let's go to here, real fast travel, real quick. It's going to be a bunch of jumping around for a second here. All right, and let's open up the latest one of these I did. All right, so now with the new system in place, I should be able to put connectors in. What is it? So we have camera gap here. So camera gap here, camera gap here, camera gap here. Okay, and then can I do them diagonally? I don't think so. I don't see. I wonder if I can go there too. I wonder. I think that's going to cause me problems. So what I'll do is do it like this way. Now we don't need as many connectors. We can connect here across or here across. These are too close, so those won't try to connect. So that should work there, I think. Yeah. I'm trying to decide how to have the distance. So, trying to think how to hook this up so that it's... Yeah, so I'm just thinking about how to do the distance sensor. I don't really want to put it in the center. I lose the center of my bullseye doing that. Could just do that. Let's try that for now. I don't like it as much, but See how that looks. Not thrilled with that, but that will work. Alright. So I kind of need to redo this whole system, so that's fine. What I will do is grab these. I'm going to put this like that, 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 that. I don't know what I keep doing here. Cut, paste, clear. Cut, paste, clear. Okay, let's check the colors here. Okay, so those are all going to be... Those are all different colors. Okay, that's good. Alright. And so what I really need is this microcontroller here. So we'll cut that. So I lose some of the detail I had on there, but you know, functionality-wise, we lose a little bit of the cool factor of how the bullseye looks to gain a lot of working, essentially. Because right now it's not working for us, and so it's as much as I like the way it was. If it's not functional, then it's kind of like, okay, well, you know, why have it? And especially at this point, I need a functional system. So let's look at those. Okay, so those are our sliders here, and so what I need to do is I need to start with tracks. And see, this doesn't need to be sealed anymore. I had it sealed because it was in a fuel tank. It doesn't need to be sealed anymore. So let's actually go this color here. Alright, so what do I want? 1, 1, 2. Look at the color there. So that needs to go here. Okay. You just paint these before I end up losing the chance to easily paint them, and it's going to be a pain to paint it. Give me the right color block, please. There we go. I know I could be using the bucket, but I'm doing this for precision reasons, that I know exactly what I'm coloring. That is why I'm doing it this way. Okay. So let's go down to here. Let's go down to here. Let's go down to there. Okay, then what I want to do is I want to take these compact linear track bases. And if I could remember which direction to turn stuff in this world, I'd be thrilled. Okay, good. Okay. Alright, so that's that. And then I want to take just some color block here, and like that. Like that. There. Alright, now I'm going to merge these up. Alright, and so I need these as separate as the same units, so those should be the same color. And I can erase out that. And then these need to be the same color. Alright, like that. And then that can be erased. Alright, so those are now our grabbers that are going to grab our helicopter on the bottom. Alright, so those are the grabbers. Perfect. Alright, let's see. Let's start hooking everything up. So that is going to be indicators. So those should connect to all the indicators. This one, yep. Let's connect to all the indicators. That is connector. Okay, so this is going to shut off the connectors. So I can send this to all 4 of them. It doesn't matter. So that's where is release? Okay, so this is going to, if any of these are connected, it shuts the lights off. I forgot about that feature. That way, when it's sitting on the pad, it doesn't light up the bullseye the whole time. So that's what that feature is. All right, so what I want to do is I'm going to increase this so that it has 2 of those, and that way, if either of the sets connect, it will add it. All right, connector north-south, connector east-west, and then we'll go in here, and then where are we at here? Connector north-south, and we'll go like this. Put an OR in there. So what this does is once the helicopter connects to the pad, that's when it shuts off the bullseye lights. It's just so that the bullseye lights don't stay on constantly, because when the vehicle is above it, that's when the bullseye lights come on. So, all right, distance, that's fine. So now the distance sensor is right in the middle. All right, so let's do. So I don't need to connect all 4 of them. This here is east-west, so that's going to north-south. So this one's north-south. This one here is that's north-south. This one is east-west. All right, so that should be that. That's pretty simple. It's going to go like this. Okay, so that's the new bullseye, and that should function better. And as you can see, with 4 of these, I can now land in multi-directionally. Now, one thought I had is, my geometry is not very good. So like right here, we have 1, 2, 3 blocks separating. We have 1, 2, 3 blocks separating here. I was almost thinking about if I put them in the corners here. But the problem is, I wonder if it gets wonky. That way I could land diagonally too, but I think this should be fine. If I had this system last time, I would have been able to land. I was coming in like this. And so all I would have had to do is, come in and grab this set here. It might grab me in weird places. Might try to grab me too far out, but, let's see what it does. As long as one of them grabs, I can always go throw some ropes on. This is, again, mainly for if we have a really bad situation where the wind is just insanity, we can hopefully get around this. So, all right, so let's save this. All right, now let's load up. See, the Katydid is going to be wrong, so let's load up. Trying to think here. What was the distance of the regular Katydid? Let me see how I can do here. I should be able to test this in our career world and see if it's all right. So let's go ahead and load up. Let's go ahead and load up Katydid landing rework, and I'm going to load this in and see if I'll be off-centered, but I should be able to land, because I need to move Katydid away to be able to. I need to move Katydid away in order to be able to reload it to get a new Katydid than the one that I just worked on. All right, so let's test it. We're gonna have a different angle now, but you can kind of see. So this, I should change the color of these so that it matches that yellow. We still have a reasonable way to get in here, and it actually doesn't look terrible. This should be yellow, definitely around that sensor, so let's do that. Let's change the yellow color to this yellow. So make sure we're in that. Yep, so let's change all these to that color. Let's change this to that color. That's better. And then let's change these. bucketing these in. Alright. So now that's the proper yellow color. It's not that other yellow that I use. Alright, so that's better. Save this. Alright, so that's in. Let's go grab Katydid and see if I can land this. Now, it's not going to be centered because, remember, the new system, it puts the camera in the middle and it has the attach points there. This is way up here. And then, yeah, so I need to, this is drifting. So I might need to increase the ability for, of roll for Katydid to get the station keeping to work. It looks like I'm having drift in the station keeping. So I just need some tuning in. Alright. Oh, I just opened the hatch that I just closed. Okay. Alright, let's shut off station keeping. Let's shut off altitude hold. Shut off heading hold. Alright, and let's head over there. And let's see if I can land. Now, again, the alignment's not going to be right because I have to land with my tail hanging off. But what I'll do is I'll reload Katydid. You know, try to go do a mission and then land at Draymore and bring in the new version. And then some other time we can test that. Right, so I need to work on the station keeping a little bit. I don't think I have it as sensitive as it needs to be. Alright, so I'm going to probably have to do some of this in third person to see it, but now coming to the bullseye now. Alright, so we want to land. I have to land short of the bullseye. Let's see, does it light up? Okay, so something's broken. It doesn't want to light up with the bullseye there. So I can check that later, so something's up with that. Let me see. Turn on the... I don't know if the spotlight's going to help me or hurt me. That's going to hurt me. Okay. I am also, as you can see, I'm leaning to the right as I do it because I'm starting to get pushed over towards the lighthouse. So this is fine if I hang off a little bit. This is just kind of testing if these grab and behave. You know, when you know, with the new alignment, it'll actually work better. The bullseye will go right in the center. There we go. All right, so that works. As you can see, okay, I need to paint that. That works, as you can see. The Katydid will be back to being in the center, is the difference. Alright, so let's go ahead and... what are we on fuel? We're on all right on fuel. Let's just shut down for now. Alright, so that's good. That works. You know, when I load in the new Katydid, it will grab here. And so that will put us more centralized on the pad. Yeah, that'll put us more centralized on the pad, and so that will kind of fix that issue. But you know, we know this works, so now I can grab on north-south, and I can grab on east-west. And actually, one thing I could do to further complicate this to make it better is, so let's say I don't want, say, this one to try to grab and this one to try to grab. Okay, so what I should do is I should make it so that if, say, this set grabs, right, this one here, it should disable the other set, so only this one's active. That way it would make it so it has to do that. So that's something I'll add on there. But that's good. Let's see where we're at here. Let's, I think I want to go try to do a Katydid mission to get this over here. So this is perfect. I need to get over to Draymore to launch the new Katydid. A blue speedboat distress requesting assistance. Okay, so this is what we're going to do. We're going to go do this mission. It's nighttime, unfortunately, but not the end of the world. We should have plenty of fuel. Famous last words, I know, but let's take off and let's go over there. And we'll go to this mission, then I can launch the new Katydid with the new updated system, and then I can go back in my test world and further refine this. Alright, so let's go cockpit door. I want detached coupling. I want 250. Let's go ahead and let's put in the new waypoint. And then one thing I'd like to do is I'll get the GPS coordinates of the pad and see if I can use, once I get station keeping tuned in, I might be able to use station keeping to actually hold us, you know, aiming at the pad and get us to help it to essentially auto land maybe. That'd be an interesting system, having auto land. I prefer doing it manually, but would be cool if I can get the precision up to be able to auto land it. Alright, so you can see the pitch on the autopilot's much better. Still having some roll issues. I'll have to deal with that. I find the helicopters often have these roll issues, but it's not bad. Let's see if I can trim it in. What it could be is it could be the roll PIDs. I changed the numbers. It just might not be sensitive enough, so it's not going enough decimal places to account for that. So I think that's what it probably is just a sensitivity issue on that. Alright, we are going to be there in 7 minutes. Alright, so the plan is we'll head over here, do the rescue, probably drop them off at this hospital, then we'll go to Draymore, and I'll end it there. And then I'll do a bunch of that work on the base, and then that will set that up so that it's, you know, it's all set up and working. I'll probably do some testing off screen, and then that way, you know, haven't watched me reload it 8 times. And then that way, next time, you know, we'll have the new landing system all set up. So again, you know, career is the way you find out a lot of this stuff. You know, we had 100% wind, which pretty much if I'm over 80% wind, I should not be in the air. That's just brutal, man. It's too much. You know, a boat rescue. You know, we tried doing that rescue up here in near 100% wind, and the waves were almost hitting Katydid at 60 feet off the water, and so that is just too dangerous. Both people died. I was getting close to dying. Katydid could have easily been hit by a wave, and you know that would have been an ugly rescue trying to drag Katydid off the bottom of the ocean. Probably just couldn't do it, and so it's better to, I think, kind of make a hard and fast rule that, you know, if the wind is that heavy, it's too dangerous and it's not going to happen. You know, it's just kind of a fool's errand to try to do that. You know, it's better to be cautious and kind of call it off than to crash. You know, it was some good emergent gameplay trying to get back on that wind and crash, but you know, now we should have a pad where I can approach from any direction. Again, in real life, you would you always want to land an aircraft into the wind, and so the aircraft is designed to go nose into the wind. That's how it's designed, and so, you know, the same thing with an airplane, same thing with a helicopter. Let's look at the shape really quick, so I can actually go top of Katydid. So if you look at the shape is designed to be aerodynamic, and so you have the wind coming here. It's going to push, you know, let's say it's straight off the nose. It's going to come, it's going to split. It's going to go off to the left here. It's going to go off to the right here. It's going to keep smooth flow. It's going to push back and around the tail. Now, you get the weather vane effect where if the wind's coming from here, so let's say the wind's coming from here. Okay, so the wind's coming at a 45-degree angle. Wind's going to come and it's going to hit the side of the Katydid. It's going to cause a high pressure here pushing on the side of Katydid. There's a low pressure over here not doing anything. So you have the air coming here, hitting the side of the Katydid, hitting the tail. Well, that's going to try to push the tail this way, right? And so then as soon as the wind, the relative wind is straight ahead again. So let's say the tail pushed this way, and now Katydid's pointing 45-degree angle. The wind once again is trying to split it evenly like that. And that gives you stability so that the Katydid wants to sit into the wind. And the same thing happens with airplanes. So when Boston used to be a good example of this is when I come in the airliner to land in Boston, let's say the runway was over here, right? And the wind was coming like this, so it was coming at a 45-degree angle. we'd actually be going diagonally sideways into the runway because the nose of the airplane would be facing into the wind. And so we'd come in diagonally sideways, and then at the last second you hit the rudder, you straighten the nose out and you land. And so you always want to be coming into the wind, and so a tailwind is the worst case scenario. So again, the aircraft is designed to head into the wind, and we're asking it to go backwards. Well, what's the wind try to do? Spin it around the right way around because of aerodynamics. And so that was what was happening with Katydid, is when I turned Katydid around and tried to land with a tailwind, I was literally at 100% yaw, 100% rudder, and I could not, I couldn't do anything. I had 100% in there. There's nothing else I could do. And that was, you know, me using both the rotor and the control surface. Now, I might have to. Currently have a control surface lockout at low. Actually, maybe I don't. No, they should still function. So yeah, even with the rudder and the tail rotor, I could not overcome the wind at 100% wind. So I needed to be able to land into the wind. So this new system should allow us to be able to land into the wind. That's kind of the long, short version of it. And so understanding the aerodynamics of it, you know, helps you understand how you should come in. So when you're coming into land, you want to land into the wind, especially if the wind's heavy. If, you know, like at an uncontrolled airport, you can pick your own runway, what runway you want to land at. And so you look at the wind and say the wind is 090 at 30 knots. All right, so you have 30 knots of wind. 090 is east. Is coming from the east. So what runway you want to land on ideally is 090. You want to land on runway 9. You know, and so that would put you directly in the wind. You don't want to land on runway 180 because or runway 18 because that would give you a tailwind, right? And then if you have wind calm, you could come in any way you want because the wind is calm. All right, let's see where we're at here. Coming up on the bridge. So where's Big Bridge here? Where are we here? This is the upper set. So we're coming across Komodo here. So we're in the area, so we need to start looking. Transponder, I doubt. No, he doesn't have a transponder. Again, that puts the huge red ring if it's a transponder. Often they crash. I wonder how much of this is actual dynamic missions where they actually crash into something. So there's Komodo. We're coming across the top of Komodo here, so we're just entering the area now. Here's this little outcropping of rocks. That's this right here. So we're like right on the edge of it. So we need to start looking. Yeah, I wonder how much of these missions are dynamic, because sometimes it actually seems like they're crashing into stuff, and that's what's causing the mission to pop up, but I don't know. Might be simulated. Probably is simulated. So sometimes you'll see them crashed up against the islands, these boats that we're looking for. So it's actually not bad when it turns to night, because sometimes it's easier to spot them at night, because if they have the strobes on, you can actually see them. Alright, so we're cutting. There's one helicopter. Alright, so we're... Uh-oh. Okay, it's trying to circle, it's trying to orbit the waypoint now, which actually isn't the worst thing. There it is, right there, okay. So all it was trying to do was orbit the waypoint is what it was doing. So let me get rid of this and make sure heading hold's not on anything. Alright, so let's go. I don't have any of my, I do. Nav beacon, okay, those are on. Just want to make sure my beacon and my strobes are on. What is my wind set to again? Okay, we're not bad, 38. I just wanted to know because that was, what is this? Why is this fighting me? Altitude hold is off, okay. Heading hold is off. I want to see what this is doing and why it's fighting me. Okay, it's just fighting me a little bit. Alright, so it's up against the island. That's usually a good bet, is that it's going to be up against the islands. It's usually a boat crashed. I don't even know what it's doing now. I'm pressing a lot of control surfaces at once. I wonder if that's what it's doing. We got a lot of traffic around here. Alright, so it's up against one of these islands. I'm not sure which one. I saw it, and then I lost track of it because I was having to shut off all my modes. I think it was right here. Yeah, it's right there. Okay, there it is right there. We have the strobe. It's actually right where we want it to be. Alright, I'm going to hit the space bar, and I centered out the... see, it doesn't like that when I push down too much collective, it really doesn't like it. Alright, there we go. Oh, so I think it's telling me to bring them to a specific hospital. That's interesting. That's new. Alright, so I'm actually... where is this? This is the chemical island, I believe. So let's do this. Let's find a place to land here on the land. Let's turn on the spot. I thought I had... yeah, I changed the lighting on these landing lights. It's still hitting the prop, which happens in real life. You'll hit the prop and it will blind you, but I need to find some solution to that so that I can actually have a landing light. Alright, let me find... I'm trying to find a place where this will hopefully not blow away or be a pain. I think... let's see if... I'm trying to find a place to put it. It's probably actually better to keep it on station keeping. And, yeah, I'm going to keep it on station keeping is what I'm going to do. So let's get this set up. Current heading is, let's say, 230. 230. Alright, let's go down to 40 feet. Okay, and I'm going to set a waypoint here. I'm going to go right here. Set waypoint. Put that in. And let's station keep to that. Alright. And hopefully this holds me stably enough that I don't have issues. Let's turn on the red light. And let's head down. Still not thrilled with this system. Like, I have to press the other button to get it to cycle. There we go. Okay. Let's grab the harness. Let's go down. I didn't bring my fire extinguisher. Why? It's life full of pain. Okay. So let's go 6. There's a reasonable chance that these people need a defib as well. And I can't carry 2 things on me, so... But I was actually kind of thinking about the other mission where I had that issue where I needed 2 things and I couldn't have them, was to actually make a little toolbox that I can drop down on the carry winch. So that I would also drop down a toolbox, but that's further just engineering on my part. Trying to kick this in the hole. There we go. Okay. Oh, Jesus. Nothing's easy, man. Alright, and this is why I, enable flying, is it's just like, this is not a me problem. This is a, in real life, of course, I would have, hopefully, the dexterity of my own body to be able to control it and not run into issues where I can't control my own body. See, like, I couldn't even hit the button fast enough to get it to do what I wanted to. Yeah, this is getting annoying here, this button system here. I need to fix this. There we go. Alright, I'm going to just lower it all the way down, and then I will jump into the drink and grab it when I get down there. Okay. Alright, let's swim over there. Station keeping needs some work, but it's not bad. Part of it is the wind is up, and so the wind is up, so I'm struggling to fight the wind. So, like, I have a clamp on my control surfaces on how much control surface I can use with station keeping, and I need to increase it. Yeah, see, it's drifting like a mother. This is annoying, man. I should have made this. See, what I should have done was put the heading hold into the wind. Try not to burn to death here, too. Yeah, I'm getting burned while underwater. I get it, man. Alright, so I'm going to have to go to Katydid and reset the position here because they're both incapacitated, need defib. And I can't do anything until I get a defib. Okay, that fires out. This one is the one that's like under the dash. See, like this one just relit. Oh, come on. Fire is extinguished. Okay, good. Alright, so they're both of them are screwed up here. I'm not swimming all the way over there. Let me go like this. So I need to fix Katydid's station keeping. It is not working right. So I'll fix that. I'll fix that off screen and get that fixed at some point. Alright, so the other thing I'm going to try here is I'm going to put Katydid into the wind, which I should be doing anyways. You know, that's going to make it easier to have it go. Right now I have it, I have the tail into the wind, which is tailwind, which is the worst thing. So I wasn't really thinking of that when I did it. Okay. Alright, so let's put the Fire X away. Let me stick this defib on me before I forget and end up not doing it right. Alright, so let's take off station keeping. I'm going to just manually move myself. I need to take off heading hold. So what's the reciprocal of that? I can't remember. So I'll do it when I get there. I was going to say I'll put the reciprocal in, but I'm just going to... I forget the rule of how to do reciprocals. It's been a while. I'll look it up. So there's a little math thing you can do to quickly get a reciprocal of a heading in degrees. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna set up the station keeping system so it has the greatest chance of success here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna enter. I'm gonna have the heading hold keep us into the wind, and then I'm gonna add a little bit of prop to cancel out the wind. That will have the effect of, like I said, canceling out the wind, and then the station keeping will either pitch or roll to maintain the position. So right here, let's find the wind angle here. So right there, that's about it. We're looking at 4.7. So we want to heading at 4.7. Okay. And now I'm going to let myself drift. I'm going to start adding prop until I stop my relative velocity. So still drifting. I actually want to drift with the boat. So I want to drift at the same rate as the boat. So right about there. Okay, so I added a little bit of prop. I can't tell right where I am now. I'm off here maybe. And let's do this. Turn station keeping on. Okay. Alright, now let's try going down and doing this rescue now. So I have the defib unit. So I should be able to get these two people going. And this is going to be a pain. Get in the hole. Oh, I'm going to fall through. You can hear more expletives out of me in 2 seconds, man. Gonna hear some expletives here in a second. I'm getting annoyed. Getting annoyed. Okay, that's in the water. What the? It's getting annoying, man. It's getting annoying. Okay, I'm gonna have this drift into me. I need to get where it's drifting. Still have too much drift with this station keeping. Okay. I'm trying to push this. Part of it is the wind affects you while you're not in the out there either, and so that makes it tough. You see where I'm at here. Yeah, see, like I'm drifting. The station keeping should be keeping me on station. It's not. Let's shut station keeping off. I don't think it's doing anything right now. Where's the wind angle now? Let's add 6.7. I'm going to do this manually. Okay. Let's start moving manually over there. I kind of want to drift with the boat anyway. And there's a reasonable chance they die before I get to them because it's taking so long. So like I'm at 100% rudder now, or 100% roll. So I need to increase how much I feed into those systems for the station keeping. Alright, so that's pretty good right there. I'm just going to add a little bit of roll trim here. Okay, so that should hopefully get us where we're keeping with that boat, and if I get this down the hatch, I will be so thrilled. The collision on this is just annoying. That's the problem, is it's like, it's hitting the seat, and then I have to kind of kick it, which is making it so that I have to get frustrated, man. I can't get my fat ass in there. And then I have to fly all the time, which is annoying. Which I don't want to fly all the time, but just, you know, it's not necessarily a game issue, but it's like, you know, it's part of my design issues. Could I, you know, the game essentially tells you how big a space needs to be to get a part through it, but I'm trying to make it cooler or more realistic to what I would say is realistic, and what I'm trying to do is just something the game might not necessarily be able to do, so just wasting a lot of time doing it right now. But, you know, you've seen me get it in there 1,000 times. You know, sometimes it seems like the wind or inertia is actually acting inside as well, and I think that might be something that's happening. Let me do a fuel check here. Yeah, we're at 50% fuel, so not the end of the world. If we get a, yeah, I'm kind of actually looking forward to when it tells me these people have died, because then I can go do something else. Okay. Alright, there we go. Let's go down. Alright, so so I did a better job setting. Let's see, one of them had died. I knew it was going to happen soon. Whatever. If we can rescue one of them, that'll be fine. I don't care at this point. I'm going to fly. I'm going to do a bunch of crap. I just want to get this done. The whole point was to get... Oh my god, now I'm can't swim. Come on, man. You know, I don't mind it too much because the weather is supposed to be really bad. Get in the water so I don't try to rescue the wrong one. Where's the other one? Oh my god. Alright. Too bad, dude. I don't know where you are, but you're not getting rescued. Let's put it that way. If that's them over there, I'm going to be annoyed. That's them. Are you deceased? You are not deceased. Okay. I think they're on me. Yeah, they're on me. Alright, I'm just doing a bunch of cheaty flying, I know, but, you know, I need to figure out, get some of these systems fixed and do some stuff, so it's whatever at this point. Alright, I'm done with this mission. They're off my body. I lost them when I flew, and I'm not doing it anymore. You know, my frustration is not with issues with the game, it's more issues with what I've designed. I had the station keeping working, but I didn't test it with heavy winds, so of course heavy winds is not working because I didn't test it with heavy winds. And, you know, so that's a me issue, but it's still frustrating that I didn't test it with heavy winds, and so I need to do some more testing with that. Let's go ahead and let's just go to, these people are goners, and let's head here. And I just need to put this back on the workbench. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. I see, that's one of the things I need to fix too, is I was lowering my throttle, which is super dangerous because if I get the RPS of my throttle too low, what's going on here, man? Hit me to Dre more. Where is it taking me? Okay, it's doing it. It's turning me to Dre more. It's just the wind. It's fighting the wind the whole time. What was I saying before I got all annoyed there? So I was starting... Okay, I'm taking over. I can fly better than this autopilot can. No, it's fine. The game gets really weird when the wind gets up. It really does. It just makes it really tough when the wind gets up. I have a bunch of roll trim in there. What it's trying to do is... It's going to crash me. It's going to do it. It's going to do it. The wind is just... What is the wind at now? 80%. Okay, no wonder I'm having issues. Again, I just said that my new rule is no more operating above like 80% wind, and I'm fighting the wind, and I'm like, why are my systems not working? The wind's at 80%. No wonder my crap's not working, is the wind's at 80%, which I just said not to. Okay, so alright, now that my complaining is done, let's stop complaining. Okay, so things weren't as bad as I thought they were. The wind is just insane. We're in a hurricane, and I'm complaining that my aircraft is hard to fly in a hurricane. So that's pretty normal. That you know, your aircraft is going to be hard to fly in a hurricane. So let's land this like a normal person would land it. So right now I have no heading hold on. I have no station keeping. Look what direction this aircraft wants to face. Into the winds. You can tell we're into the wind because of the way the waves are moving. You can see these streamers they put in. I'm going to kick full right rudder, and I'm going to let go of it. And see where the Katydid goes. Alright, I'm not touching anything. Alright, now this is what really happens in real life, is the aircraft want to go into the wind. And so what I'm going to do is when I come in for landing here, again, you know, this would be pertinent to what we were talking about before, is you want to come in landing into the wind. So when I do my approach here, I'm going to approach, not going straight into the hangar like I might want to, but I'm going to approach into the wind. So I'm going to come in, so I went downwind of the of my landing site. So downwind just means I went past it. I went down with the wind, and now I'm going upwind, going into the wind. Alright, so when you're in an airplane, you know, doing a pattern, you go downwind and then you come upwind to land. And so this is how we're setting up a proper landing here. Alright, so I'm upwind now. Now, it's actually very easy to control the aircraft because I am going upwind. And the aircraft wants to point into the wind. Now, if I was trying to land this downwind, I'd have the same issues that I had last episode where I was fighting it the whole time. Like, I'm barely doing any controlling now because the wind, you know, I'm just working with the wind. And so now it's going to push me backwards. Well, I can add a little prop if I needed to. I can add all sorts of stuff to get that in. So let me just... So watch this. I'm going to do this. We'll do this in first person. So I'm going to get my height down, and I'll actually show you how I can land this in the hangar with, you know, what is it? Around 80% wind, 75% wind, or 75% wind. But I need to be facing the wind, and as long as I'm facing the wind, I can come in. If I try going in sideways, not facing the wind, I probably wouldn't have enough control surface to do it. So that's, you want to make sure you're flying this like a real aircraft. You know, and I understand most people have never flown a real aircraft before, and so a lot of the issues are with, you know, even I was getting frustrated there. I was like, what's going on? Because I wasn't accounting for the wind. And, you know, you need to account for the wind. And so that was me getting frustrated at myself, essentially, for not flying properly. So, you know, facing the wind, especially when the wind is up. And so definitely I'm going to try to go by that new rule that I made, that if wind is over, let's say 75%, we're really going to think long and hard about whether or not I actually go out in those conditions. It's just too dangerous in a helicopter. And so let me see if I can find the rescue boat. So at some point, I'm trying to think. So this large rescue boat, that's too large, of course it is. This large rescue boat here, I haven't worked on in a long time, but I might bring this in at some point in the career build series. I I kind of want to get the home ship, but this is a good large rescue boat. It's not that huge. Let me quickly bring it in just to show you, and then we'll end the episode. But yeah, I was getting frustrated, and it was all me. Essentially, it was, you know, the harness was giving me issues, but the harness was blowing to the side because I wasn't facing the wind. You know, and so... All right, so this is my larger rescue, but I haven't done pretty much anything with this in a while, and so this is more what you'd want to take out in these conditions. This is the size that you'd want for those conditions. Now, it needs a big rework. It's diesel electric, which I'll make a direct drive, so I can have a smaller motor. As you can see, it holds a boatload of people. It has a bridge and an upper control bridge, so I might at some point get something like this in, but this is a much better rescue vehicle for like heavy seas. This is going to be very hard to sink. If you look at center of gravity it's actually a little high, but I could lower it pretty easily. And it's got plenty of buoyancy. It's got plenty of speed. So I might get into something like this. You know, this won't take too much to update. I just need to put in new motors essentially, and I could drag off the motors off the oil tanker. But, you know, this is essentially the size of the vessel you'd be using. Vrijo's probably could have done all right in that situation, but it'd be tough. So, all right, so I'll see you guys in the next one. So we got the base kind of fixed up. We got Katydid redone, so Katydid is in a state where we can now land in extreme winds. You know, you saw I had no problem landing at Dremore as long as I was facing the wind, so I should have no problem with that high of a wind landing on that new pad. And so that kind of gets that Katydid in the base, you know, a little bit in sync. So see you in the next one. Bye.